For nearly 500 years, the Western Roman Empire ruled the known world. Its legions conquered continents, its roads connected civilizations, and its emperors commanded absolute power. But in the year 476 AD, something unimaginable happened. Rome fell. The greatest empire in history did not collapse in a single battle. It crumbled slowly, through corruption, betrayal, and relentless invasions. What began as whispers of instability would soon shake the foundations of Rome itself. At its height, the Roman Empire stretched from the cold forests of Britain to the deserts of Egypt. Millions lived under Roman law, protected by powerful legions that guarded borders thousands of miles long. Rome was more than an empire. It was a civilization of engineering, philosophy, and military discipline. Grand aqueducts carried water across valleys, and massive arenas echoed with roaring crowds. For centuries, Rome appeared unstoppable. But beneath the marble temples and triumphal arches, cracks were forming. Political chaos plagued the empire as emperors rose and fell with alarming speed. Power was no longer earned, it was seized. In just 50 years during the 3rd century crisis, more than 20 emperors claimed Rome's throne. Many ruled only months before assassination or rebellion ended their reigns. And this instability was only the beginning. While Rome fought itself, powerful enemies gathered beyond its borders. Gothic tribes, Huns, and Vandals watched carefully, waiting for weakness. The empire that once terrified the world was beginning to fear its neighbors. In 376 AD, desperate Gothic refugees crossed the Danube River, seeking safety inside Roman territory. Rome allowed them to enter, but poor leadership and cruelty soon turned refugees into furious enemies. Just 2 years later, disaster struck. At the Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD, Roman legions faced the Gothic army. By sunset, thousands of elite soldiers lay dead, including the emperor himself. For the first time in centuries, Rome's military dominance was shattered. News of the defeat spread across the empire like wildfire. And suddenly, the unthinkable began to feel possible. If you enjoy discovering the dramatic rise and fall of powerful civilizations, consider subscribing. History is filled with stories like this, and the collapse of Rome is only one of them. But Rome's greatest nightmare had not yet arrived. From the distant Eurasian steppes, a terrifying new force was approaching. Warriors so feared that entire nations fled before them. Their leader would soon shake the world. In the early 5th century, a terrifying leader rose from the eastern steppes, Attila the Hun. Commanding a vast army of mounted warriors, he swept across Europe like a storm. Entire cities surrendered before his armies even arrived. Roman provinces trembled as the Huns destroyed towns and demanded massive tribute. The empire that once conquered the world was now paying gold simply to survive. But even tribute could not stop what was coming. Yet the Huns were not Rome's only enemy. In 410 AD, the unimaginable happened when the Alaric I led the Visigoths into the Eternal City itself. For the first time in 8 centuries, Rome was sacked. For 3 days, the once glorious capital was looted and burned. Temples were stripped of treasure, homes destroyed, and terrified citizens hid inside churches. The shock echoed across the empire. Rome was no longer invincible, but the empire still struggled to survive. Roman generals desperately tried to defend shrinking borders as new barbarian kingdoms rose across former Roman lands. Piece by piece, the empire was disappearing. By the mid-5th century, Rome controlled little beyond Italy itself. The legions were smaller, the treasury nearly empty, and powerful generals now controlled the fate of emperors. The empire was collapsing from within. Then, in 476 AD, A Germanic commander named Odoacer made a decision that would end centuries of Roman rule. He marched on the capital and confronted the young emperor Romulus Augustulus. The final Roman emperor of the West was forced to surrender his crown. Without a massive battle or dramatic siege, the Western Roman Empire simply ended. A civilization that ruled for centuries disappeared in a single moment. Yet Rome did not vanish completely. Its laws, language, architecture, and ideas continued shaping Europe for centuries. Even after the empire fell, the influence of the Roman Empire never truly disappeared. The fall of Rome marked the beginning of a new era, often called the Middle Ages, a time of new kingdoms, shifting power, and a world very different from the empire that once ruled it. Historians still debate the true cause of Rome's fall. Was it invasion, corruption, economic collapse, or political chaos? In truth, the empire fell not from one disaster, but from centuries of growing weakness. But one question remains. If you had lived during Rome's final days, would you have fought to defend the empire, or accepted that even the greatest civilizations must eventually fall?